Hey everyone, this is Isaac, and welcome back to another Photoshop tutorial. In this video, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about the brush tool in Photoshop. Let's get started. The brush tool is located in your toolbar, on the left of your screen. Right-clicking, you see four options: brush tool, pencil tool, color replacement tool, and a mixer brush tool. Let's go over them all. The brush tool and pencil tool let you draw on the canvas. Let me show you. First, select the color that you want your brush to be. Next, click here and select the size and hardness of your brush. If I put the hardness to 100%, this is what it looks like. If I put the hardness to 0%, it's going to have a much more soft look. And here you have your brush presets. There's a lot of stock Photoshop presets, but you can also import your own. And then we have blending modes. This is where you decide how you want your brush to interact with the layer you selected. If I set the blending mode to color and my color to black, as you can see, when I draw over my subject, it drains the color out of him. If I pick the color red, as you can see, it colors the picture red. If you want to learn more about the blending modes, I have a whole tutorial dedicated just to them. The next option we have is the opacity. The lower it is, the more transparent your brush is. Then we have the flow. This is what your flow on 100% looks like. This is your flow on 0%. Imagine the flow like pressure. If you put a brush on the paper and if you press really hard, it's going to be thick and full of color. But if you don't put any pressure on the paper, it's going to be very soft and colorless. The last option we have is the smoothing one. This allows you to create more smooth brush strokes. This option only works on trackpads and drawing tablets. Let me show you how it looks. This is smoothing on 0%. And this is the same thing drawn on smoothing set to 100%. As you can see, it carefully follows my cursor, allowing me to create much more softer edges. The pencil tool works the same as the brush tool. It just creates a more sharp look, just like a pencil in real life. The next tool we have is the color replacement tool. This lets you replace the color of anything in your layer. First thing you need to do is select the layer and then select the color you want. And then just paint over the object that you want to replace the color of. Then you have your limits. You can put it as contiguous, discontiguous, and find edges. If I put it to discontiguous, it will paint over everything it sees. If I put it to contiguous, it will be much more careful with the edges. And if I put it as fine edges, it will refuse to paint over anything and when it sees that it's crossing the edge. And then we have the tolerance. The lower it is, the less tolerant it is to the color you're trying to replace. The last brush we have is the mixer brush tool. This will recreate real brush strokes on your picture. You can choose how wet you want it to be. How full you want the load to be. You can choose the mix. And the flow. And just like for all the previous tools, you can select the smoothing. Those are all the brushes we have, but if you want more control over your brushes, let me show you how to do that. Select your brush and on the right of the screen you have brush settings. And here you can choose all your presets, the size, you can rotate your brush and squeeze it, choose its hardness and spacing. The next option we have is the shape dynamics. This adds randomness and variation to the brush shape. You can control the size jitter, which varies the size per stroke. Control, this uses pressure with a tablet or fade over distance. The minimum diameter sets a floor for size changes. The angle jitter rotates each brush mark randomly. And the roundness jitter changes how squashed or round the marks are. Scattering. This scatters brush marks in random or pattern directions. Scatter spreads marks randomly, can be on the X, Y, or both axes. Count, this numbers of marks per stroke. And the count jitter randomizes how many marks appear. Texture adds a texture to your strokes. Here you can choose the pattern which you want to affect the stroke. You can scale the size of the texture, choose the brightness and contrast, and here you have blending modes where you can choose how you want your texture to interact with your brush strokes. And when you play around with the settings, this is how it's going to look on your image. Dual brush lets you combine two brushes. And here you can choose which brush you want to combine with your main one. And you can play around with the settings to get a better result. The next option we have is the color dynamics. This lets colors shift dynamically as you paint. Here you can set the foreground/background jitter. As you can see, when I start painting at different points, it creates different colors. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a tablet, so I can't show you what this does. This just controls how paint builds up, what you press with your pen. Brush pose. This simulates tilt and rotation for a stylus. Again, I can't show you this one since I don't have a tablet. And here you have noise, wet edges, build up, smoothing, and protect texture. Noise adds a grainy texture to each stroke. Wet edges simulate a watercolor effect. Build up. Like an airbrush, paints build up over time if the cursor is held still. And smoothing we already went over. When using textures, protect texture ensures consistency across multiple brushes. And that's it for this video. If you found this video useful, subscribe for more tutorials like this one. Check the description below for the links of all my socials, and if you have any questions or future video requests, leave them down in the comments below.